Welcome to the Connected Enterprise Podcast. This is Carl Lewis, your host, one more time. And with me today is Kris Reed. Hey, Kris, tell us about yourself and your company, what you do, and where you're from, for sure.
Man, I tell you, what an awesome time to be alive, right? I'm on the other side of the planet from you. It's my Thursday morning, your Wednesday evening. I'm all the way in Saigon in Vietnam. Certainly with this COVID fiasco, terrorizing the world, it's a great time to be working online. And that gives you the power to work anywhere you like. So yeah, I'm originally from Brisbane, Australia. I don't have much of a Vietnamese accent, but how I got here was kind of a long way around. I studied software engineering at university, and I worked in finance. Moved to London, worked for a bunch of big banks. It was pretty soul destroying work, but they pay you enough money that you learn to live with it. Yep. And life was pretty great up until the 2008 global financial crisis. And the banking world just got destroyed, and so did my job and pretty much everyone I knew. And it was sucked. I was in my mid-20s and had the rug pulled out from underneath me. I was like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? I limped back to Australia to recoup and try and build some plans. And being a computer geek, I was tinkering around and building some websites, playing around with stuff. And I built this online game and I ranked it in Google, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of fun. And then realized, well, that's probably a pretty valuable thing to do for other businesses. And that was the birth of my business, Ardor SEO. And we've been ranking businesses and helping them get customers online for about 10 years now.
Oh, that's pretty exciting. I remember those years. That's when I sold my company. I went to work for Vision33. It was in 2009. So that's the way it happens. Well, hey, what I ask all my guests is, what do you see going on in your industry with technology? What are people talking about? What are they putting their time in? What are they investing in to make life go better?
Yeah. So, what we do is focus on generating people, more customers to their business. A lot of people don't really get the concept of what a website's for. It's like a business card. If a business card doesn't work if it's sitting in your desk drawer, you need to get out there and hand it out. And that's what a website needs to do. First and foremost, it needs to get in front of people. Doesn't matter how damn pretty it is or how good your lead magnet is. If you don't have traffic, it's not going to generate customers. So that's the first step. Then you need to have, your website shouldn't be aggressive and say, hey, book a call with us or buy our thing right now. Because people don't know you and they don't trust you. Like Amazon converts way better than every other e-commerce website because everyone knows and trusts Amazon. If you've got an e-commerce website, people don't know you that are coming from Google. And so they're not likely to buy from you straight away. Your conversion rate is going to be way lower than Amazon. So if you have, what's called a lead magnet, where someone can learn information about your products and services, something interesting. No one wants to join your newsletter, but like a good example is, we work with a lot of real estate syndication companies, and generally the minimum investment is like $50,000. So a great keyword to rank them for is how to invest $50,000, because someone searching for how to invest $50,000, you can be pretty sure they've got 50 grand to invest. And so then you have an article about, the 5 biggest mistakes people make, or how to invest $50,000. And then you have a lead magnet. So people read your article and go, that's really nice, Carl. And then you have a lead magnet, which it's like, well, what's the 5 biggest mistakes people make when getting started with investing? And so they download this guide, they give you a name and email, and they read it and they go, wow, this Carl guy knows what he's talking about. And now you've got a really good lead. Then you need to nurture that lead. You can't just email someone and go, hey, give me 50 grand. Not going to work. But if you have a nice nurture campaign, you go, oh, listen to me on this podcast or watch this YouTube video or read this white paper, or here's some, other people that we've invested in, other projects we've worked on. And after they've seen a few emails from you, listen to you on a podcast or two, they're like, man, this Carl guy really knows what he's talking about. And then you go, hey, book a call with me. And by then, they've already pre-sold because they think you're an authority. They understand what you do. And so you're not wasting your time speaking to people that don't understand your product and that aren't a good fit for you. And so you get your calendar, fit with, your perfect ideal customer. And so that's what a real website should do. And to answer your question about what technology you should use, well, there's a host of them. Like I'd stick away from anything that like Squarespace or, you know, or any of those drag and drops websites. They're really hard to rank. They're made to build a website easy. They're like, if it's easy to do, then anyone can do it. That's not valuable. And, you know, WordPress powers the vast majority of the internet. Like it's something like 30 or 40% of websites are WordPress websites now. There's so many plugins for WordPress. You can build anything you want. It's not easy to build a great website. It takes time and money and investing in your business, but it's so worth it. But yeah, I totally recommend using WordPress for a website, Active Campaign for your email marketing and CRM. It's like super cheap. I think it's about $7 a month for the smallest plan. And if you've got a big newsletter, MailChimp. But those three tools is like enough to get any business started, and like the monthlies on those are really, really very affordable.
What I think you're starting to talk about it a little bit, but what are some of the challenges, right? The business starts getting into this. You mentioned kind of like the trying to do it on the cheap. It is going to cost something, and but what are some other challenges that that they face when they're getting into this stuff?
Yeah, well, going into it without a plan, that's where people wasting money all the time. Like web design firms, they generally do not understand marketing, and they'll just take people's money. Like all the time we have people come to us that have spent 20 or 30 grand on a website and it generates them zero business. And for one, it doesn't cost that much to build a website. And why are you building this massive giant website? Like you want to build the minimum viable product and get it out there. Like I had a sales call this morning, and the woman has a pretty nice website, zero traffic. And she's like, oh, I want to tinker with this and I want to change that. I'm like, why bother? No one sees it. Who cares? You can make it look more glamorous or have a better button or a better lead magnet. No one's going to it. It's not going to change anything. Increase your traffic. That's always the first thing to do, because you've got two levers, right? At the end of the day, a purpose of the website is to generate your customers. And so you've got two levers: increase the traffic or increase the conversion rate. Generally, people don't have any traffic. So you increase the traffic. That's always the lever you want to pull the most. Yep. And then once you've got a good amount of traffic, then you can focus on increasing your conversion rate. But until you've got at least 1,000 people a month come to your website, like increasing this CRO, as it's called, it's not going to do anything. But once you have 5,000 or 10,000 visitors a month, if you can increase that conversion rate by 1%, it turns into a heck of a lot of revenue coming out the other end.
Yeah, there's a lot of money spent on making websites beautiful, but that's all they are. It's like a collection of pictures, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and people lose track of that all the time. Like that's one thing that we really try and hone our customers in. Like, so a new client that's where we're building a website for them, they'll get just so hung up on their logo, and it's like, man, no one gives a crap about your logo. Like you look at Starbucks, right? They got a stupid name and a stupid logo. Like it's a naked mermaid, and their name is from some B-grade sci-fi movie that no one's ever heard of. Like it's a stupid name and a stupid logo. That doesn't stop them being a multi-billion-dollar company. Like if you focus on what's important in your business, like a logo is not going to make someone buy your thing. Getting your message in front of them is what's going to make people buy your thing.
Absolutely. What do you think? I mean, you see any big technology things over the horizon, for that people are going to start deploying when it comes to, marketing and trying to get leads and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I mean, like we focus on Google. Like Google is by far the best. Like digital marketing, no matter what form of digital marketing, whether it's Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads or YouTube ads or even Google ads or SEO, all of the digital marketing kicks the crap out of any traditional marketing by a long shot, because it's really measurable and predictable. Like if you do a radio ad or a Super Bowl ad, like how do you know how many people even saw your Super Bowl ad? It's like you're totally guessing. And how do you measure the conversion rate on that? It's just such a waste of money. Like I don't know why big companies like Oatly, they spent how many millions of dollars on their big Super Bowl ad. If they ran Facebook ads,
I may be mistaken, but I think I heard something like $500,000 for 30 seconds or some crazy thing like that, right? Yeah.
I think it's significantly more than that, maybe. It's not my area of expertise, but even if you say 500 grand, like that's a lot of Facebook clicks. And that's people that actually go onto your website where they can buy something. It seems ridiculous to me.
So a lot of times it sounds like, maybe one of the things people should focus on, especially if they're a startup, is rather than having your own website with a store, maybe do that through Amazon, because you're going to end up with more customers coming to you immediately that way, just because you're on Amazon, wouldn't you say?
Oh, that's a tricky one. For one, you can sell stuff on Amazon, but remember, Amazon owns your customer now. That's Amazon's customer, not yours. So, and Amazon do take a very hefty percentage. Like it's not ideal. You won't really want to own your own customer base, and investing in your own website is so much better than investing in Amazon's website. We work with a lot in real estate, and I speak to realtors all the time that are spending 10, 15 grand with Zillow. Zillow is this big real estate website, and they buy leads from Zillow, and it's like you're spending money like building up Zillow's empire. Zillow doesn't give a crap about you. They'll sell those leads to whoever wants to give them more money, and it's only ever going to get more competitive. And you're not creating a fortress. And the same with Amazon. If you're selling your stuff on Amazon, you're building up Amazon, and Amazon doesn't care about you. They just want people to buy stuff on their platform. They don't care whose it is. They want the one that's going to give them the most profit margin.
Excuse me. So you're not building customers, and you're not building any kind of a referral program. You're just selling stuff, and it ends up being for very little profit. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. And where like you get people to your own website, you're building security. Like Google is worth more than Facebook by a long shot, because that's where people go to search for information, search for new products, buy things. Your intent on Facebook, it's to chat with your friends. Sure, Facebook ads do work, but they don't work as well as when someone's going to search on Google, to buy a house or whatever the heck. The buyer intent is so much higher. And when you build your website, like the internet economy from 10 years ago is nothing compared to today. And in 10 years from now, it's going to be like an even bigger jump as technology grows at a faster and faster rate. And especially all of the young kids that are becoming adults that grew up with the internet. Us old timers, we remember a time when the internet didn't exist. Like they grew up always having it. So they're always going to want to buy everything on the internet. And so COVID is destroying storefronts. The high street is dying, but internet is booming. In fact, two Australian companies, one that's been petitioning the government for years about having higher tax for internet websites because their retail has been struggling, and another retailer that does have shops, but they also have a really good web presence. During COVID, they doubled their revenue. Like, they've had 2020 was their best year ever. And it's like, that's what happens when you have a website. Like, and it's only going to get more valuable. So, investing in it is the best business decision you can make.
Yeah, I had a customer who put a big investment into a great website, full store operation years ago, and really didn't do anything with it, right? But they had all the infrastructure. They were just, brick and mortar. They were happy. But then COVID hit, and all of a sudden, now the website becomes very valuable. And for them, it was lucky for them that they were ready, right, and prepared. Because we saw lots of other people that were scrambling to get there. Because e-commerce has just, exploded over the last year. And I think some people say as much as between maybe 6 times and 10 times, right, growth in 1 year that would have taken 10 years, right, to accomplish. So it's been crazy.
People sit at home and they're bored and they got their credit card out ready to buy things.
That's it. So that's a big part of it for sure, and the convenience and all of that. So I don't think there's any going back from that. It's going to probably grow from there at a faster rate yet. Well, Kris, I've been asking all of my guests, you kind of mentioned it where, the internet wasn't there. We remember that. But I'm focusing on more of the questions about communications and how it's changed in your business life. Because I bet when you were back at the bank, it was a lot different than it is today. And what we're doing today, right? A video conference call between two people on opposite sides of the world, right? That never used to happen. So what kind of changes have you seen in your career, and how's things working in this new world?
Oh, for sure. It's just getting faster and faster. Like I had a call with a guy in Toronto at 9 p.m. my time, and then I have a call with you at 7 a.m. Like you can just speak with people at any time. Like there's a blessing and a curse for that. Like it encroaches your family life and your business life. That's why I have a nice home office, so that I can get this stuff done. But yeah, it's only going to get more and more compounding like that. But if you balance it right, it works great, and I put out blocks of time on my calendar to do the things that are most important, that are going to drive, my business forward. So like, as long as you use technology to your own advantage, like my phone doesn't receive any messages. My wife always goes crazy because she can never call me. And I'm like, my phone is for me reaching out to the outside world, not the outside world to reach into me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. No, it's changed an awful lot, and some for the better. I think it is a challenge to kind of have the work-life balance that working 8 to 5 gave you, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy to start early and finish late.
8 to 5 BS though, it's like, we have we have office, but lots of our people work from home. No one has to come to the office at any point. You work where you want. I usually go in for a few hours a day. And it's work when you're most effective. Like our clients don't give a crap how many hours we work, or what we do. It's, if you don't get results, they're not going to stick around. We need to make our customers money. And that's what I say to our team members. I don't really give a crap how many hours you work. It doesn't matter. It's like, you keep the clients happy and I'm happy. And that's the same thing. Like, some of our team members like to stay up to 2 or 3 in the morning. Other people like me like to get up at dawn. It's like, work when you're most effective. Don't be like stuck into this. When I used to work for banks, right? It was an 8 to 5 job, and you'd get in there and whether you're tired or hungover or whatever, and you pretend to work, and you're not effective. Sure, you might have a few hours of really good work, but not that whole time. And so take a long lunch shift if you're not doing anything, or take a break, or go for a walk, get a coffee. Do good work. Don't just sit at your desk wasting time.
Yeah, no, it's great to be more in control of your own schedule for things like that, for sure. What, you guys work with other companies as kind of in a consulting type of capacity. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges your company faces when you're helping other companies, learn how to market themselves?
Our biggest problem that we have is when people want to micromanage us. It's like, you hire professionals, let us do our job. And last month we had to fire a client because she was just anal. She was like over the top. I'm like, what are you doing? You're trying to like tell our team what to do, and you're not saying it very nicely. It's like, you hired us for a reason, because we know what we do. We have a system. It's like, follow the system because it works. Like, we guarantee our work because we know that if you do what we say, it will work. Like our best clients, they just trust us to do what it is. In fact, like one of our clients, Adri Carl, she sold 53 million in real estate in 2019, 158 million in 2020. Like, that's over tripled her business. She sent me a message the other weekend, and she's like, our biggest problem is we don't have enough realtors now. We can't close this. We've got more deals that we can close. And so I said, great. All we need to do is, how many realtors do you need? And what's your conversion rate from interviews? So how many people do we need coming to your website? Work back. So if you need to hire 1 realtor a month, and so you need to have 3 good interviews. So you need 3 really good qualified leads. How many crappy leads do you need to qualify? That's maybe 10. So you need 30 good leads. Say you got a 10% conversion rate on your website, you need 300 visitors coming to your website searching for real estate jobs in Tennessee. And it's like super easy. And when customers let us do our job, which is that sort of thing, works perfectly. When they want to like pretend that they know what they're doing, then that's our biggest challenge.
Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely is the case sometimes. I know people want to be involved, but there's a fine line when it comes to that stuff.
You don't hire a dentist and then like tell him what to do. It's like, hey, no, get this filling in that one.
Yeah, exactly. More gas. So that's great. Hey, one last thing I'll ask you. What have you in your own business? sort of upgraded technology, started doing things differently, looked at, AI or any of those type of things as being what will work for you guys?
I mean, not so much. Like, so we focus totally on Google search, right? So we really have our finger on what Google's doing. And Google has an army of software engineers, like a massive amount. And they're the best software engineers on the planet. And what they're trying to do is filter out the crap. The internet is so big that even Google, with its massive computers, can't look at the whole thing all the time. It has to analyze what websites are worth looking at, what websites aren't. And it's getting better at filtering out the crap. And so really all we need to do is keep doubling down on quality. It's just getting better at filtering out rubbish websites. So if you have a fast loading website that has good quality content, because Google can read the quality of the content and sees how long people are sticking on your website. If people search something, go to your website, come back to Google and search again, they know it wasn't a good search result. And so they'll demote you eventually. And you have really good trust and authority, then that's going to just stand the test of time. Like, that's what Google's always going to look for. They're just getting better at filtering it out. So, over the years that we've been doing this, it is harder. You need to work harder and provide better quality websites, better quality content, build up your authority more. And, and so it costs a bigger investment to build a high ranking website that converts well, but the payoff is bigger too. The internet economy is just growing faster and faster. And so the value that you get in return is exponential.
So it sounds like, from your perspective, the quality of a website is far more important than the always trying to make it prettier.
Oh, for sure. So one of the things that most people don't understand is how Google's algorithm works. It's, people that were around in the 90s, you remember there was a whole bunch of other search engines, right? Alta Vista, Ask Jeeves, Yahoo, Excite, heaps of them. And they were all crap. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, well, he surmised that just like if you write a thesis and everyone references your thesis, well, it's a really good thesis. And so he figured, well, it must be the same with a website. If you build a website and everyone references your website, links to your website, it must be a really good website, and you must be able to trust it. And that's the basis of the PageRank algorithm, named after Larry Page. And that's the secret of how Google works. And it's still fundamental. In fact, I'll read you this article headline. So there's this SEO tool called Ahrefs. Brilliant tool. It's quite expensive, but it's really good for SEO. And the headline of this is 90.63% of content. So over 90% of content gets no traffic from Google, zero traffic. Wow. It's they analyze 2 billion pieces of content. And it goes down to even just 0.21% of content. So less than 1% of content gets more than 1,000 visitors a month, and which is almost nothing, right? And this article is very long, very verbose. And if you're a super geek, it's really worth a read. But the number one reason that your page doesn't get any traffic is because it doesn't have any backlinks. So that means if no one's linking back to your content, Google's like, well, why do I give a crap about this? No one else cares about it. And so they won't rank.
Well, hey, if someone was interested in getting in touch with you about work they might want to have done in terms of their own website, how would they reach out to you? You mentioned something about a landing page.
Two things that they can do is they can go to Google and type in the coolest guy in SEO. I'll tell you, if you don't see my pretty face, then Google is broken. But if you want to see a really good example of a lead magnet and how a sales funnel works, you can go to our website, ardorseo.com. Ardor means to do something with a fiery passion. And that's how we do SEO. And if you can't tell how it's spelled from my funny accent, it's ARDORSEO.com/Vision33. And if you go there, you'll see a video of me talking about, how it works. And what I'll do for you is a video review. So I'll personally make a video of your market. I'll show you exactly how many people are searching for your products and services, and show you some simple things you can change yourself on your website to get it in front of where these people are actively looking for you for exactly what you do, and predictably grow your business. So that's ardorseo.com/Vision33.
Sounds like a great idea. Hey, Kris, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And I'm sure there's some stuff in here that people will feel good about hearing. So take care, my
Yeah,
friend. All right. Bye now. And everybody else, please come back again and join us on the Connected Enterprise. And until you do, stay connected.